Assalamu alaikum again, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We hope that you can introduce yourselves in the chat room as we get acquainted. Glad to see so many people taking time to join us. As I mentioned, my name is Muhi Khwaja. I was born and raised in Detroit and lived in San Francisco for about 10 years. Currently, I'm based out of Tampa, Florida, and have the pleasure and opportunity to continuously work with families, and I'm humbled by the opportunity to serve the community in this capacity. And I'm continuously inspired helping families distribute their zakat and sadaqah to hundreds, if not thousands, of deserving nonprofit organizations. Before we jump into the program, let's begin with the words of Allah in the Quran. And there are so many hadith and ayat that we can choose from. And I hope the verses reflected today show you how we are guided by our faith to be more charitable and upright citizens of the world. Zakat, the word, is found in 30 different verses. And 27 of these times it's mentioned alongside prayer. Sadaqah is occurring over 13 times in the Quran and can refer to both obligatory and voluntary charity. So if we look at our pillars of faith, we have the testimony, prayer, almsgiving, fasting, Hajj. Many of these are congregational, and many of these have additional benefit for doing in congregation. And many of these acts are done in public. But charity is often done behind the scenes. And AMCF wants to make charity a more communal practice that inspires one another and calls each other to good. In the name of God, the most magnificent, the most merciful. The example of those who spend their wealth in charity in the way of Allah is like a seed of grain which grows 7 spikes, in each spike 100 grains, and Allah multiplies his reward for whom he wills, and Allah is all-encompassing and knowing. Surah Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 261. The following verse: kind speech and forgiveness are better than charity followed by injury, and Allah is free of need and forbearing. And the example of those who spend their wealth seeking means to approval of Allah and assuring reward for themselves is like a garden on high ground, which is hit by a downpour, so it yields its fruits in double. And even if not hit by a downpour, then a drizzle is sufficient, and Allah of what you do is seeing.
Muhi, can you close your notes, please?
That I can do. So I know there was a comment about seeing the presenter. Okay, got it. So.
And Muhi,
Yes.
there's a request. Asma needs permission, or everybody needs permission to be able to pin the interpreter. They need to see the ASL interpreter.
Yes. So for those that need ASL assistance, there is the closed captioning feature, which can be turned on. And we do have Asma Abdil with the Minnesota Deaf Muslim Community, and Bilqis that are helping with ASL. So apologies if there's some issue with seeing that, but if one of the co-hosts can also help pin, I do have Sister Mona and Sister Bilqis pinned so that people can see them on their screen. So before we jump into the program, I just want to take a moment to thank our generous sponsors: Inland Neurosurgery Institute, Inspired Generosity, Nonprofit Solutions, Tabani Group, Stearns Bank, Muslim Public Affairs Council, Mgage, Penny Appeal USA, the Hashem Family Fund, A Continuous Charity, Muslim Civic Coalition, Philanthropy Together, Asian American Pacific Islanders and Philanthropy, Madinatul Ilm Academy, North Star Events, Barnes and Thornburg, Institute for Social Policy and Understanding, Shoulder to Shoulder Campaign, Islamic Scholarship Fund, and Muslim ARC. Thank you to your generosity, we're able to put on today's program and continue this work. We are here to support AMCF, and your donations will help empower our donor and nonprofit ecosystem. This slide will be up a few times throughout the presentation, but today's event kicks off our year-end fundraising with Giving Tuesday around the corner. We hope that you remember AMCF in your support. I want to take an opportunity to welcome Shazeen Mufti, an executive leader on our team, to go over the next 10 minutes, just some insights around AMCF. So Shazeen has been a consultant with us since last year and has come on full-time this year, a trusted advisor and somebody that has brought a lot of strategy to AMCF and has been allowing us to continue to grow. So Shazeen, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Muhi. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I just wanted to share with you, this is our team. With AMCF, we have our board of directors. We have our leadership team, which is Muhi and myself, and we have our wonderful staff members, many of them who are here today. And this work would not be possible without our team. So thank you to our team. Thanks. Muhi, can I move or? Yeah, so I'll just tell you when I need to be on the next slide. So we wanted to tell you a little bit about us. Our vision is leading sustainable and strategic Muslim philanthropy for today and future generations. Our mission is cultivating donor giving and diversifying funding to advance charitable causes. And we are led by our values of being guided by the sacred, being strategic, being sustainable, being collaborative, being diverse, being inclusive, and having integrity. And I wanted to ask you all if you have seen our shift. We have had an opportunity to really reflect on the work we do, and going into our 10 years, which is coming up next year, we are we're very self-reflective in our strategic planning process. And next slide. As a result of our strategic planning process, AMCF's board and staff members engaged in a series of conversations about the value we provide. In speaking with our stakeholders and having internal conversations, as a community foundation, we decided, how do we fully incorporate community into our community foundation? We asked ourselves, what would our work look like if we engaged in community building? And so what we came up with is our what we call our change strategy. Our next slide. So in our conversation, we talked about what we do, which is our activities. We talked about the impact that we want to make in community. And in order to do that, what would we have to do? What kind of outcomes would we do to have the impact that we want? So our activities that we are working on as of now with our shift is we work with donors to grow Muslim philanthropy. We help nonprofits build organizational capacity. We develop leaders to better address community needs. We collaborate with partners to create collective impact. We gather and share data to inform decision-making, and we help shape a compelling community narrative. And what that means is that we start with the gray graphic. Philanthropy in the US is inspired by Muslim values and leads to social change and collective impact, which then leads to Muslim donors are strategically engaged in philanthropy that addresses community needs. Muslim nonprofits are better equipped to serve community needs and lead systemic change efforts. Collaborations lead to increased funding from mainstream sources to address Muslim community needs. And we as a community foundation serve as a resource center, relationship partner, connector, and community storyteller, which then leads to a positive narrative that helps engage future generations to engage in Muslim philanthropy. And with that, if we feel like if we're doing all of those pieces, the impact we would like to see, which of course is God willing, but we want to see a robust Muslim philanthropic ecosystem that closes the disparities that exist in our community. We want to see that, last slide. Sorry. Okay. Muslims are decision makers in the systems and policies that affect their lives, and Muslim organizations have the capacity and the influence to affect policy and social change. So with that, we decided to engage in the shift that we needed to do in order, if this is what we want to do, this is the impact we want to have, what would our organization have to look like? What were the internal and programmatic shifts we would make? Okay, next. So we came up with our new organizational model. So previously we did donor services and we did nonprofit services, and they were separate entities in their own ecosystem. So what we decided to do is actually create this collaborative integrated system that had donor services, had nonprofit services, and then was connected with our community building program. And then in order to be what we want in the community, we also had to develop our own capacity to deliver these services. Next. So this is what we came up with, our AMCF's community development framework. It starts with capacity development, and that's our, if you've seen any of our training programs, or we work with nonprofits, we are developing a new donor education series of webinars and workshops. We do networking partnerships. We provide opportunities for leaders to meet their peers and develop alliances. We're often connecting people that are within different nonprofits or different ecosystems. And then we also convene and collaborate. So we have small gatherings and larger gatherings where we bring people together. We recently had a nonprofit summit. We also had a women's wealth summit where we brought speakers, we brought people together to share in these and have those conversations. We're also committed to disseminating information, any data and reports that we get, sharing that out with the community. And the final piece of that, and we hope we've noticed it in our marketing and our newsletter, we're better trying to tell the story of ourselves and the work we're doing, and also tell the stories of our community, right? It's very important that we have the positive images of philanthropy and giving, all the different ways of giving, and also showcase the wonderful work that our nonprofits that we're allied with are doing. So we're really going to be engaging in that, and we're reaching out to get more stories. You've probably seen that with some of the surveys we're doing. It really is to concentrate on that, building that narrative about positive images of Muslims in the community, specifically around philanthropy and giving, and community service. Next. So with that, in order to do that work, we also have to do the internal capacity development. So for us, that meant creating a collaborative culture, investing in our people, creating a sustainable growth model. And what we've really been focusing on in the last few months is improving our systems and processes. In order to better do this work, it is essential. You've seen that we've been putting it out there, but we're actually going to be in a new system in December, and we'll be sharing out that story. And then also diversifying funding. We have actually reached out, and we're getting non-Muslim money to help in our cause and what we're doing. That better frees up Muslim money to do the things that other funds can't do. So these are strategic initiatives created from that, and we've been working on strengthening our existing services while adding our community building activities. And that starts with improving our donor experience. So we've just, like I said, we are in a new system. It's called Community Suites. It's specific to community foundations, and we're looking to roll that out in December. We're in the middle of transferring all our data, and we appreciate your patience as we've been doing that. We also want to increase our reach with promotion, and you've seen that we've engaged in different marketing techniques and tactics, and also engaged in a new system to help us do that with communication out to donors. We're increasing our processes, we're building our own organization, investing in our staff, and then from a resources standpoint, really trying to diversify how we reach out and get funds, and creating a more sustainable organizational model. So this is our little strategy map of what we do and our program. So we're grounded in our values that I've shared before, guided by our 5 pillars, which help us to create the services, the programs and services. We have our philanthropic services, which include the Donor Advised Fund, philanthropic advisory, and we're just now engaging in helping with some grant management for larger funders, where we're actually taking on some grant management. On the nonprofit program side, we do our organizational endowments. We have our social impact accelerator, and we're engaging with our grant making program. We're building that out and launching that next year. We are doing our collective giving. We have our women's giving circle. We are now we're engaging with the youth giving circle. We're really happy to roll that out here in the next few weeks. And we collect we have collaborative funds that are specific to different issues in our community. And then we are formulating our leadership development program. We will be rolling out something actually in the next few weeks that we're part of, a larger leadership development program. We're also engaging with nonprofit leaders in a program, and developing our board leaders program. So all of that is done with our community development process. For each step, we have, again, the capacity development, the networking, the convening, information, and narrative building. And again, the clouds in the sky is what we want to be, what we talked about our impact. So with that, just wanted to share out, next slide, the impact that we have had to date. And that's, we have over 240 DAFs, donor advised funds. We have over 25 endowments. And then we've funded over 26 million to the community. And we have over $9 million assets under management within these DAFs and endowments in our own endowment. So
Wonderful.
we're really proud of the impact that we've had. And with this shift, we feel like we are going to invest in ourselves and be able to scale our impact even further. So thank you.
Absolutely. And based on conversations that I've been having with families, we anticipate the assets under management to continue to increase. But as it is with Zakat, many families are putting money in and distributing money out. So we see ourselves more as a grassroots community foundation, where we really encourage families to make distributions. And there's a lot of research about donor advised funds that they actually increase giving, and we'll get into that as we start the discussion on the panel. I want to give you an idea of where our donor advised fund families are coming from. So all across the country, we have a decent representation across the country. And we are looking forward to building more connections in communities across the country as well. 240 isn't necessarily a lot compared to the number of Muslim families that are there, but we really want to look at how can we continue to increase this number over time sustainably and build that out. We want to give a shout out to the endowments that partner with AMCF. So we have Al Bushra Mosque, Al Huda Society, Amana Complex, Averroes High School, Bayan, Culturingua, Art, the Initiative on Islam and Medicine, Iqra Math and Science Academy, MIFNA, Malik Academy, Mihrab Foundation, Muslim Sisters of Staten Island, the Manik and Safi Foundation, Quba Academy, Qari, the Muslim Network, Yalla Kafala, 200 Muslim Women Who Care, and the Coalition of Virtue. And these are also represented across the country as well. So I wanted to also let you know that we have been encouraging our nonprofit network to work with Candid and GuideStar to increase their transparency, add their financial resources, put their programmatic goals, so that they can ensure donors are verifying information and finding measurable impacts with the deliverables listed, a place where they can put their annual reports. And AMCF ourselves are leading by example, and we've shared our most recent audit to continue our commitment to showcasing where every dollar is spent. And it's been a critical part of our process in engaging the nonprofits that we serve and that we give grants out to, asking them to fill their Candid GuideStar profiles as well. So the breakdown in terms of the total giving for the donor advised funds and the endowments together is that $26 million, Adina. We can give a more specific breakdown in terms of the $9 million of assets under management. I would say a majority is the donor advised fund, significant majority, and looking forward to providing more details for you as well. So just to round out what Shazeen had mentioned, and kind of the work that we're doing as well. This year, we have committed to doing 12 monthly educational webinars for donors and nonprofits. We have a few later this month and next month. We have participated in memberships for the Shura Council of Southern California, Northern California Islamic Council, the Council of Islamic Organizations of Greater Chicago, Arizona Muslim Alliance, and the South Florida Muslim Federation. So we're trying to get connected to more communities across the country where they have these Shura councils and umbrella organizations and memberships that we can network more, introduce ourselves, try to get more endowments, and showcase the value that AMCF is providing where the community is already connecting. We also launched our Muslim affinity groups for Muslim fundraisers who are part of the Association of Fundraising Professionals. Previously, we had done study groups for them to become certified fundraising executives, all enhancing the professional development of our community. In addition, we also are doing more representation for how non-Muslim charities can also fundraise from their Muslim donors in Ramadan and talk to their donors about what is meaningful to them. We've also partnered with many organizations to provide educational, financial, and philanthropic tools to the community, such as the Muslim Legal Fund of America, Philanthropy Together, 200 Muslim Women Who Care, Muslim Women Professionals, Rabata, Nisa Consulting, Noor Emporium, and Mars, Mohsen, Olive Community Services, and the Minnesota Deaf Muslim Community. So thank you to our institutional partners who help us continue to do what we do. In addition to that, we also attended the Gates Foundation Collaborative Fund, hosted by Philanthropy Together. We also went to the Global Donors Forum. We attended the WF Fund grantee convening. And again, just trying to network with other institutions, showcase the opportunities that they can have with AMCF. And this year has been a critical investment in our infrastructural systems so that we can provide more internal services to the community as well. We're focused on expanding our staffing, and we did all of this in addition to hosting our nonprofit summit, which many of you attended in Chicago, and also our Women's Wealth Summit that was in Southern California. So we ask you to stay tuned to AMCF. We have more events to round out the year. We're going to be talking about donor advised funds and endowments in depth in our Wednesday, December 10th webinar. So we highly encourage you to sign up. We can drop links into the chat. And if you sign up for our email newsletter, you'll see all of these events there. And again, we're going to be talking about Ramadan fundraising prep in the mid of December with the Association of Fundraising Professionals as well. So our hopes and dreams are that we get to increase philanthropy guided by Muslim values. We want AMCF to become a household name. We want your charities to partner with us, and we want you to open endowments. Start now. It's never too early to invest in your sustainability. And if you don't have a donor advised fund, we want you to open one today. It will help you be more consistent with your giving. And AMCF exists to get more funding to nonprofits. And we partner with them to make this happen. Your donors can give more effectively through donor advised funds by giving more complex assets like stocks and cryptocurrency, and give more effectively. And they'll not only continue to give to you, but more likely they'll increase their giving to you as well. Every organization always wants help with fundraising. And with AMCF managing the donors' giving, we can help inform that. And it's a win-win solution when we partner together. So we want to also, as we come into 10 years of AMCF in 2027, we want to also look into the M Venture Philanthropy Fund, which will look into how we can bolster businesses and real estate opportunities within AMCF's investment strategy. We want to continue to hire more full-time people like Shazeen, who's done so much for our institution, and expand our community development programs as well. So you can always find out more at our website. And thank you to Lisa and Carl who are dropping in information in the chat. I want to turn into our topic of why we are here, our panel on the power of us defining the future of Muslim giving. So some stats, and I think you'll be impressed with what the research is showing. This is compiled from places like the Muslim Philanthropy Initiative at Indiana University, and also the Institute for Social Policy and Understanding. Zakat giving in the United States is around $4 billion annually. Americans in general, including everyone, gave over $500 billion in charity. So if you look at the percentage of Muslims in the United States and the impact that we're having philanthropically, it goes to show that, there are many Muslims who are doing their part when it comes to charitable giving. And it shows that 90% of US-based Muslims give to charity each year. And this is at a higher rate than the general population. And what's even more significant is that women are leading. 79% of Muslim women give financially and volunteer at higher rates than their counterparts as well. 70% of all zakat is still given directly to individuals rather than organizations. So we know that crowdfunding and donor-advised funds and giving circles are on the rise, and that they are shifting this landscape. Last year alone, crowdfunding by Muslims surpassed hundreds of millions of dollars globally, and with Launch Good powering over $750 million raised since inception. Giving circles among Muslims have doubled since 2018, and donor-advised funds are the fastest growing charitable giving vehicle in the United States. And Muslim participation is rising sharply, whether they're choosing institutions like Fidelity and Schwab, or want to work with more faith-based aligned institutions like AMCF. So these trends reveal something powerful, that Muslims want transparency, they want purpose, they want connectivity in giving. So again, Giving USA stated that Americans in 2024 gave $592 billion, and DAFs are about $15 billion in that distribution. So year over year, we're seeing this data show that donor-advised funds are being used more effectively, and we expect that the assets total in donor-advised funds across the United States will reach $300 billion by the late 2020s. So, we need to have broader donor bases as our institutions. We need to think about how we engage our donor-advised fund donors separately from other donors. And DAF giving has expanded beyond just being a tool for the ultra wealthy. Everyday supporters are now beginning to utilize donor-advised funds, and it shows that donor-advised funds promote higher retention rates for donors in their giving to institutions year over year. And they support a wider range of nonprofits as well. In 2024, grants went to over 213,000 nonprofit organizations. Now, there are about 1.5 million nonprofits in the United States, but again, a significant majority are starting to use and adopt donor-advised funds as a method for their giving. So in fundraising, if you're familiar, we use this concept of a donor pyramid, where you have your annual fund donors, then you have your repeat donors and major gift donors, and then your planned giving donors. And from this wide base of engagement to major sustained investments, we're hoping that you think about where donor-advised funds fit in that strategy. So I'm going to introduce our guest panelists, and we will begin our conversation shortly with them. Amani Kilawi is a pioneering digital crowdsourced philanthropy executive who's been able to capture the heartbeat of the community in real time. And Anwar Khan has shaped relationship-driven philanthropy for decades, moving donors from events to major missions and institution building. Giving for Muslims is more than just a transaction. It's an act of worship. It is community leaders and a cycle of love. Notifications on our phone can show generosity flowing outwardly, and our prayers, our dua, come back to us in the spiritual return that fuels our purpose. So I want you all to think about how each and every one of you and your families engage in charitable giving, and how it could look or feel differently. Today, we're going to explore how the art and science of fundraising blends with faith and spirituality, and how tradition and technology together can shape the future of Muslim giving, building endowments, more sustainable institutions to serve generations to come. So with that, I would like to welcome Anwar Khan, the CEO of Muslim Aid USA, and Amani Kilawi, the co-founder of Launch Good.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for having us.
Of course. So, a variety of backgrounds for both of you. Amani, you've been a social worker, now a social entrepreneur. You're the COO of Launch Good. Many of the people on this call, it's a household name. And you've been able to support Muslims all around the world, helping them raise for creative projects, for nonprofits, for so many different ideas. You have been listed in Inc. magazine's top 100 female founders in 2020. And, since its inception, Launch Good has raised over 850 million for 100,000 projects, impacting over 130 countries. That's a big scale. Anwar, many people know you because of your dedication and commitment to traveling across the country, with Islamic Relief USA as a co-founder, and now as a CEO of AK Spark Consulting and interim CEO of Muslim Aid USA. Again, over 30 years of experience in the field of humanitarian and development work. I like to say that everybody in the nonprofit community may have been inspired by you and has an Anwar Khan story. So thank you for your leadership, what you do with the World Food Program, the Lines to End Hunger, and also serving on AMCF's board. It's an honor to have you there and also teach with you at the Indiana University's fundraising school.
Muhi, can you please stop sharing? That way we can see the speakers.
Yes, I will do that. Is that better now?
No, I still see the share, if you can. Okay, great.
Got it. So we can also pin Amani or spotlight our speakers. So we'll make that adjustment right now so everybody can see them as well.
Thank you.
Of course. So I want to talk about different lessons learned through your careers. You've each had a front row seat to extraordinary Muslim generosity, and you've been part of global strategies for major donor partnerships that transform our communities. Looking back, what is one lesson you've learned about what motivates Muslims to give and how that changed the way you lead your organizations? Let's start with Amani.
All right. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Muhi and AMCF. It's clearly you've been punching above your weight. It's incredible to know it's been 10 years, inshallah, which is like what it takes to build a solid institution, whether it's IR or AMCF or Launch Good. One of the things that we've learned personally over the years is that 12 years now doing this, when we set out to build Launch Good, we really just wanted to build community. We wanted to support everyday Muslims to raise funds for causes. I was a youth organizer. My co-founder was a film producer. And at the time, you have to remember, giving wasn't like it was today. We were still beginning to give online as a community. And there was over 400 niche crowdfunding platforms, believe it or not, back in 2013. And so for us, it was really about storytelling first and foremost. And the number one thing we found is people still give because of their emotions first and foremost. It's very reactionary. And I still remember one of our early campaigns back when the Syrian crisis was at the height of it, of Japanese Muslims raising funds for Syrian refugees that American Muslims supported, which was really a reflection of the pulse and heartbeat of our community. And we saw this time and time again with all sorts of crises, whether it was the Christchurch shooting or uh, somebody locally in the community who needed legal help, or responding to a potential effort around what we've been seeing on MSA campuses. And so that does mean that sometimes giving is reactionary and spontaneous. And for us, we've leaned into that. We've tried at times to push the community towards different things, but what we found was really important is that we have to reflect where the headspace of our community is, and we got to meet them where they are, and then we can take them to where we need to. And so the way we've leaned into it is to play our role as a marketplace of causes and being able to showcase the best of what's out there. For example, for Palestine, putting in extra work to say, hey, these are the top organizations that we think have very good due diligence processes, and we want to make sure that we center those organizations to power your giving. And so leaning into that has been really critical for us. Now, I know that there's a conversation sometimes in our community about being too reactionary. Our giving is too spontaneous. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's either or, that it has to be strategic in a certain way. One of the things that we often forget is that giving is a muscle, the spiritual muscle. And the more that you can encourage people to give, the more generous they become. And so any avenue, whether it's responding to a crisis or deciding to commit your funds to a DAF, is in itself building that muscle. So I don't believe grassroots fundraising is going to die anytime soon. I mean, we've seen recently with Zahran Mamdani's campaign, where the average contribution was under $100. There's a power to be able to respond in that way, and I do feel that when we center giving as a story that we want to feel connected to, whether again it's through a DAF or just a response to an initiative in the community, then that itself is quite powerful as we continue, inshallah, to support more institutional funding and the organizations and the work that enables organizations to do that long-term work.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amani. Anwar, over to you for lessons learned.
So when I started, it was the last century. So we're going back to the last century, over 30 years ago. When I started this work, I came to America, I was 22, it was 1994. And alhamdulillah, at that time, masjids were much more open to allowing people to come and to talk than they are now. People were willing to give money without asking any questions. But then when 9/11 happened, they came and they asked a lot of questions because they were now worried about having a visit from the FBI. So the security situation has completely changed from the 90s to the 2000s. From people, in my opinion, anybody could say they were from any organization and there was no background check, no credibility. So the mosque, if anything, sometimes would feel upset. Somebody came and they scammed us. Well, you should have done a little bit of due diligence. To after that, nobody can come. We're not allowing anyone to talk about orphans. We're not allowing anyone to talk about international relief. We're scared. And then after that, it developed to, and this is really where the community came in. The community demanded that some of the organizations reopen to given to different causes. So we found that it's good to talk to the leadership, but as Amani mentioned, she said the importance of the grassroots campaign. So I am still a community activist to this day. I was involved in an organization that raised $1.3 billion, mashallah. It was last month in Chronicle of Philanthropy. It was one of 100 out of 1.5 million American nonprofits. And I'm telling you, with all of that, we shouldn't ever forget the sincerity and the spirituality of the donors. So I think the key thing is answer the questions of the donors, find ways to deal with the questions of the government, especially if you're working in conflict zones. So before 9/11, maybe you could get away with it. After 9/11, if you're a Muslim working in a conflict zone, or if you are any religion or no religion working in a conflict zone, you will be under a lot of scrutiny. What has happened? We now have to spend a lot more time to prove that the money is going to the right causes. Our administration is going up. So what I would say also to the donors today is if you want us to abide by stringent US government regulations, and if you want to make sure that your money is safe and for you and for the people doing the money, then don't be surprised if there's an admin charge to that. We didn't used to have legal departments and CPAs checking everything. Now, unfortunately, we have to do that. But in a way, it's fortunate. Hopefully, it will reduce the scamming that's always done. And I'll finish with this. Some of you may watch TikTok. Unfortunately, I watch it too much. So there's this lady called Nikali on TikTok calling mosques and calling churches and other houses of worship in America. And then there's a lady in England following her. And what you find is generally the churches were saying no, and I will give them the benefit of the doubt that that's because they have regulations. They want to make sure there's no scamming. There's a whole process, which makes it really difficult for them to help hungry mothers in the community. Why do I think the masjid said yes? I don't think this money was coming from the zakah fund. I think it was coming from their pocket. And I want us, yes, we have to do credibility, but I never want us to lose that sincerity that we will drop what we're doing, go to the local corner store, buy baby milk, and give it. That's something in our faith. I'm not commenting on other faiths. Some of you who watch TikTok, Instagram, and social media, you know what I'm talking about. So that's this beautiful thing that's still there, but we should expect our organizations with credibility, but still when individuals ask, we should give, even if there's a chance that it might all be done in the best way.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing on the lessons learned. And the next question is, related as well on challenges overcome. Both of you have faced moments when trust and transparency or even scaling become real challenges, whether thousands of online donors and campaigns or navigating crises in international land. Can you share a story where the community's generosity helped you overcome a major organizational challenge? Anwar, back to you.
I remember with my previous employer, we would call another crisis another Tuesday. So there's just too many. I can't nail it down into one. I really fought hard. But generally, one of the main issues that we were facing was sending money overseas. And what we had to do is we had to work with the banks, have regular chai and kebabs with them every 3 months, every 6 months to explain the projects that we were doing. We would arrange events in the Rayburn building in Congress. We would get different Congress people to come. We would get people, Republicans, Democrats to come, and we would get our bankers there. Now, why did the government types come? Because of the number of donors from our community and the amount of money that they were giving. So I want to be clear. When you give money and you give a lot of money, the government and the banks listen to you more than if you don't have much money. When you have voters and you have more donors and more voters and they contact Congress people, then they listen to you more. So it is not enough for us to just write a check. I don't want, well, now we're not really writing checks. I'm sure Mani would agree. We're mostly typing into our devices. But even then, however we give our money, I want your dua with that money. I want to know how we can leverage that money to change the politics in the country. Some of you saw the video yesterday, the love fest between the new mayor and the president. Some of you were surprised. No, I'm not. That's exactly so many times I can't go into detail. I've had to do stuff like that. And I don't want to go into detail how many times I've had to be there and smile and stand and smile because why was I doing what I was doing? On behalf of the people on this call, all of our donors. So I would say, please support the work of Launch Good. Please support the work of AMCF. Please support the work of all these nonprofits. Give more, give to different organizations, get your family involved. Money helps with power. Number of people helps with power, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ultimate power. So add that to your sincerely working for Allah. So I just finished with this. Never forget the barakah. It comes from Allah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Anwar. Now over to you, Amani.
Yeah, so we had two major challenges. One was just getting started. 10 years ago, when we wanted to build a platform, we ourselves were broke. We couldn't figure out where to start. And we thought the only way to build a company to power giving was to go to the Bay Area and pitch to investors and VCs. We went twice, and ironically, we're actually terrible at our own fundraising. We raised $0 at the time, and it forced us to bootstrap Launch Good. And it was hard. I mean, the VCs and the space in general was not ready to take a bet on us, let alone the Muslim community. So we took a bet on ourselves. We didn't take salaries for 4 years to be able to build the infrastructure that Launch Good is today. And the way our model works, we only do well if charities do well, and it's at a very transactional level. And so after 4 years in, we finally were able to grow our team to over 65 people to be able to power giving across the world. But you would think that that was, one and done and no more challenges after that. But what most people don't know is even with all the success we've had, and that over 700 million raised, we almost died 3 times as a company. And a big part of that was something called banking while Muslim. And Brother Anwar mentioned this already. This is something that IR and Launch Good worked on with ISPU. Again, that collaboration to fund the study that revealed, to no surprise, that 2/3 of Muslim nonprofits and businesses are likely to face some sort of banking issue or discrimination. And this is, again, at a state and federal level. And so for Launch Good, what that looked like is we were almost victims of our own success. We were doing well. And so these payment processors or banks would suddenly offboard us. And they would tell us things like, you have too many Muslim and Arabic names, and it takes too much work for us to remediate, false positives. We want to make sure this Muhammad is not that Muhammad over there, right? Or they would tell us, we don't want to support humanitarian work. It's too risky, but we love what you're doing. And we understand that it's important, or we're pulling out of crowdfunding, but we talk to all of the platforms in the space, and we know that that's not true. And so it was extremely challenging for us, because if you think about online giving increasingly becoming the norm, if you don't have a way to process payments for your charity or your organization, you really can't survive. Long gone are the days of just cash. And so it became existential for us, and it forced us to go back and rethink our whole strategy, build redundancy at every level, begin to build some of our own platforms and payment products. And subhanAllah, where the community came through is, this was really traumatic for us. It happened right before Ramadan, of course. Like a month and a half, you have to swap your processor. It's like open heart surgery on a website. And then you got to stay alive, right? And so what was amazing to me is in those years that we faced those issues, mostly 2019, 2020, we actually ended up tripling in growth. And even through that hardship, it was the community that came together and continued to give, and was still generous and showed up and still fundraised. And that itself was the biggest factor for us, to Brother Anwar's point of processors begin to see us as not just all risk, but all opportunity, because the collective power of our giving was a financial incentive for them and for the banks. And that itself was a key message for us, that the more that you take a lesson from organizing, the more that you can put those dollars together in one place or over several providers, or taking that strategy of organizing, of being very strategic about who we work with and how we work with them, that in itself became very powerful for us. And I'll say this, like many nonprofits, we're seasonal, right? Because most of our fundraising, again, reflecting the sentiment of the community, most of us will still do our giving in Ramadan, right? Our zakat. And so what ends up happening is for a lot of charities, that's what carries you through the rest of the year. And there are years where I wasn't sure that we'd be able to make payroll because I was worried it's a recession, or, you know, this is like the third year of the Gaza crisis. Do people have donor fatigue, right? And you ask all these questions. I think many of us have asked as well. But subhanAllah, every year we pull through. And I think that in itself, 12 years in, till this day, like the generosity of our community never ceases to amaze me.
Thank you so much. Now, as we look into opportunities ahead, in the next decade, what do you see for strengthening Muslim philanthropy? Whether it's through digital tools, focusing more on relationship-based giving, donor-advised funds, rules around zakat, or models of community wealth building. What excites you most about where we can go next if we invest strategically and spiritually? Amani?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, coming from the tech space, I'd say we still are missing a lot of tools built for us, by us. The importance of owning our own platforms, whether it's our own payment processing, our own CRM tools. A lot of charities work with providers and they still don't understand things like zakat and why you have to categorize zakat differently and account for it. So I think 10 years in the space so far, there's still not that many. And there's, I think, a unique opportunity here to power giving through more of those tools. And again, it's about time we build our own payment processor. And that's something that we've been exploring with LaunchGood. There's also opportunities, I believe, for encouraging more businesses to give their zakat. Like, I think our collective zakat IQ is still on the lower end. For example, we love to leverage AMCF to give our zakat as a company, but helping more businesses understand that as an obligation. And then there are a lot of opportunities to gamify giving, and charities and organizations still struggle to like help you see the impact of your donation right in that moment. And if there are ways that we can create tools that help you realize what happened exactly with that $50 transaction, I believe is actually quite powerful. We've been experimenting a bit at LaunchGood with giving clubs. We have about 50,000 donors who give about 10 million annually, and they trust LaunchGood to allocate that. So that's been really cool to be able to leverage that to support causes where we feel there isn't enough attention. Like, for example, zakat for a single mom who may not have a crowd, to the crisis in Sudan. So there are opportunities there, as well as just with all the spontaneous giving that crowdfunding supports. I still am a big fan of strategic giving. I think we've figured out how to do well individually, but we haven't yet figured out how to do well collectively. And thinking about how do we bring those pieces together to fund those institutions in our community that are working on long-term issues.
Thank you so much. And Anwar?
Yeah, so I want to, everything I'm saying is adding to what Amani said. It is not contradicting, even though it may seem like it is. So everything she's saying, I agree with. But in addition to that, I want us to continue what she was talking about, the zakah, but I want us to shift more to sadaqah. 30 years ago, we were trying to educate people on the Islamic obligation of zakah, and we need to continue doing that. But at the same time, to me, I'm old school. There's 8 conditions in the Quran, and we need to go by the 8. We don't know what those 8 are, most of us. Zakah is not a voluntary donation. It is not. It is an obligation. So I want people to give from the obligation, but I want them to give from the donation. So I'm of the opinion it's my responsibility to help my hungry neighbor, even if they're not Muslim. But that doesn't mean I can give my zakah money. Again, that's my understanding. So I want people to understand that traditionally in Islam, zakah was not the main force of financing Islamic causes after the 3rd century after Hijri. It was sadaqah. And within that is endowments. So I think the endowments are still in a baby level. I think DAFs are even less, or even more in a baby level. These are 2 really, really important vehicles. And I just wanted to remind everyone, I am on the board of AMCF. Please go and do your DAFs with AMCF. I'm going to do that plug really quickly. And I'm also the CEO right now of Muslim Aid, but I am encouraging people, please look into DAFs, please look into endowments. And the other thing is we need to train the people who are in philanthropy. I don't think anybody went to school and said, I want to be a philanthropist or I want to be in philanthropy. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a lawyer. So now we have people with PhDs, with masters in this field. Many of the people involved with AMCF have gone to symposiums, have gone to trainings. We need to then trickle down that knowledge to our community. And I'll finish with this. You mentioned, Mohi, the pyramid, and Amani mentioned the digital. To me, the bottom of the pyramid is now mostly digital. It's mostly digital. It is the cheapest, quickest way at the bottom with annual giving. But as you go higher up the pyramid, the highest level, do we really want people giving 3% to a credit card company when they're giving $1 million donation? No, we don't want them to give $1 million online. So I think there's a place for digital, and I think there's a place for old school. I think there's a place for amazing marketing, and there's a place for relationship. So it's everything Amani said, plus this. And I wanted to say, Mohi, whoever came up with this idea, putting me and Amani on the panel together, may Allah bless you. Usually we're in our silos. We're either talking digital or we're talking non-digital. That's not the world we live in. And the company I'm in now, Muslim Aid and Islamic Relief, most of their money was actually digital. People don't understand that. This is not the future. This is the current.
Wonderful. Any last second plugs or pitches that you would like to state?
I already did mine. Go ahead, Amani.
Yeah, absolutely. So for many people, you might know Giving Tuesday is coming up December 2nd. LaunchGood's an official partner with Giving Tuesday, and we're allocating about $250,000 in prizes to support fundraising. A lot of great tools and resources. So inshallah, if you need support with your fundraising for Giving Tuesday, reach out. Go to launchgood.com/givingtuesday. I'll also share my personal email. If you end up having a campaign, please email it to me so I can be one of your early supporters, inshallah. So I'll share that link after in the chat.
Wonderful. Again, I can't thank you both enough for being on this panel. It means a lot to have your support. I know that each of you have done tremendous work in this field, and just to be among you in this discussion is really important. And I think everybody else also see the value in what you were able to share.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
We're going to transition over to our Giving Circle Awards for the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle. But before we get into that, again, just a reminder, I think a lot of people think of places like LaunchGood or American Muslim Community Foundation as a means to give through, but not necessarily a means to give to. So, we want you to support AMCF because, again, it's empowering the donor and nonprofit ecosystem overall. In addition to that, now I will pass it over to Lisa Kaler, who is our Giving Circle manager. So Lisa, take it away.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome. We're honored to be here today as part of the 2025 cycle of the AMCF Women's Giving Circle. If you want to, next slide. Our collective impact, I know Brother Anwar and Sister Mandy were talking about that. With our collective impact over the 3 cycles, we have funded 9 nonprofits. 36 nominees have been uplifted. We currently have 60 members, and we have collectively raised and distributed around $55,000. Again, these are just small $5, $10, $15, $20, $50 donations, but they add up. And a huge thank you to all our members, those on the call today, as well as those who are not on here. We have a leadership circle. We're honored to have Agnes Chong, Iman Shebli, Madiha Patel, and Zahra Bukhari Hassan as our leadership circle. They provide a couple hours a month, and they provide really valuable advice and suggestions on how we move forward. And again, they are members, and love for you to member as well. Next. This year, we had 18 organizations that are members nominated. They included the 7Q Foundation, 200 Muslim Women Who Care, Khair Collective, Fihri Foundation, Give Light, Green Muslim, Help from USA to BIH Inc., Muslimat El Nisa Shelter, Lucille Packard Foundation for Children's Health, the Crescent Zakat Fund, Minnesota Deaf Muslim Community, Muslim Civic Coalition, Muslim Sisters of Staten Island, Muslim Women in Technology, Muslim Women Professionals, Sabeel USA, Wiser USA, and Zaman International. And for more information on all of our nominees, there's a link in the QR codes. We invite you to learn more about them. As part of the process, they were requested to obtain their gold or platinum seal of transparency, candid. So our Giving Circle is not just on the money, it's really to amplify the 5 T's of philanthropy. So to providing capacity building, network building, giving of our time and resources to help them grow and thrive and connect.
So you may have noticed a theme among all the nominees. Of course, these are women-led charities, and all of the members are capable of nominating an organization. But then whether somebody gives $5 a month or $500 or more, they can then vote on these nominees. And giving circles are a great way to democratize philanthropy. So thankful to Lisa and her leadership in corralling all of these amazing women to participate over the last few years. So, you know, a very momentous occasion. We're going to be announcing the awardees. So Lisa, I'll let you share the great news.
We want to recognize Care Collective, third place winner or nominee this year. Approximately $3,000 will be provided in the form of a grant or endowment. And I would like to allow Ruwaida Sadiq, Sister Hajar, to unmute and speak a little bit about Care Collective and the great work that they are doing in the community.
Do we have her online?
Yeah, Hajar,
There we go. Thank you.
I am just fixing the volume here. Assalamu alaikum.
We can hear you.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hajar. I'm here to present Khair Collective, inshallah. And first off, I would like to say Jazakumullah khairan for this amazing grant. Before Wallahi, it's an award. We consider this, for me, it's like really personal, subhanAllah. So starting off with how I got to know Khair Collective and how I joined it just a few months ago. I lived in Texas when I first got married. I had 4 children out of this, and it was, you can say it was a struggle. It was a very, I was in an abusive marriage for 12 years. And, you know, when I finally came to leave and I was like, that's it, I'm done, you know, take my 4 kids and go. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. I was a very naive person. I was very quiet. I was the type not to stand up for myself or do anything. So when I left everything, I lived, and when I say I lived a luxurious, a very comfortable life, it was very hard to start all over again with 4. Me as a sole provider for my children. And subhanAllah, it all started here in Allentown, Pennsylvania, when Khair Collective came and offered the mental health first aid course. I took that and I was like, you know, let me give this a try. And I didn't know anything. I didn't believe in mental health. I didn't, you know, I was like, what is that, you know? And subhanAllah, I attended this class from 9 to 5 and it was life-changing. The instructor that gave us the course, like, he made me change. He was talking about how to be a certified peer specialist. And I was like, what is that? You know, like, what is this? What is being a CPS? And afterwards, like a week later, I still didn't have the courage to approach him. I did email Khair Collective and I was like, what is that? Like, what is a CPS and how do I do it? And subhanAllah, a week later, I was on my way driving to Indiana, Pennsylvania. It was a 4.5-hour drive. And I went there, took my 75-hour certification. And I was on my way I was the happiest, most, subhanAllah, it was life-changing. It was a very, very, very big deal for me. I was able to open up. You have to have a lived experience for you to get certified. And I got certified, and alhamdulillah, I joined Khair Collective. Khair Collective did change my life. I am now, just, starting all over again, and me in the position I'm in today. It's a life-changing experience. And alhamdulillah, right now I'm on my way to getting Pennsylvania board certified, and it is an honor to be part of this. And Khair Collective is very thankful for this grant. We are very appreciative, wallahi, of all this amazing work you guys done. And I am happy to always be there to help others, and to break stigmas, and like, we're here to support people that cannot stand and speak like it is easy. You just have to be there for people. You have to support one another. And the Khair Collective, wallahi, I'm very grateful, and I'm grateful to AMCF, wallahi, for all this amazing work. Jazakumullah khair.
All right, well, thank you so much, Sister Hajar, and we're honored to have Khair Collective as one of our nominees. The link is in the chat if you'd like to learn more about the great work they're doing in the community. We'd also like to recognize our second place awardee, alhamdulillah, 200 Muslim Women Who Care. Dima Abu Olaim is a Giving Circle member and is also the leader of 200 Muslim Women Who Care, and she is on the call. I want to hear from her a little bit more about her wonderful organization.
Do I also put myself on video or just audio?
Yeah.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Dima Barlaim. I would love to Jazakumullah khairan for American Muslim Community Foundation and this wonderful symposium that you guys are having. Our 200 Muslim Women Who Care members here in Tampa, where I'm located, and the Dallas-Fort Worth communities wish to sincerely thank the American Muslim Foundation's National Women's Giving Circle for selecting us for this grant. Similar to the National Giving Circle, we are also a Giving Circle concept. We believe in the collective power of Muslim women. Our women are compassionate, caring, and charitable to the world around them. This grant will help us unlock more of their collective power to help bring financial support, volunteers, and civic engagement to local communities and the nonprofits that they support on the ground. We hope to reinvest this money into our endowment. So we're big believers in what the American Muslim Community Foundation is doing already. And we would love to use this money towards the capacity for our future growth. We hope to launch our third chapter in 2027, inshallah, bi'idhnillah. And the donations that we receive will help build the infrastructure we need to support our members in each city. So thank you so much, and jazakallah khair.
Well, thank you so much, Sister Dima. Again, learn more about the 200 Muslim Women Who Care and the great work they do. Their web address is in the chat. And then our first place winner, truly an honor. We have the Minnesota Deaf Muslim Community, MDMC, and we have Sisters Valerie Shirley and Asma Abdili here to share again about the great and very important work they're doing in their community.
Assalamu alaikum. Is everyone able to see me? Sister Asma saying, to produce you, yes. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Asma Abdili, and we also have our Sister Valerie Shirley. Sorry, interpreter, my screen froze a little bit. We have Sister Valerie Shirley, our organization leader, and we want to thank you, AMCF and the Muslim Women's Giving Circle, for giving us an opportunity to be a part of this event, and for providing us with this grant and being able to collaborate with you And we are very thankful and to be in collaboration with you all. We also want to recognize that AMCF is really amazing organization for providing us ASL interpreters for this event and for accessibility purposes. And that is one of our struggles as Muslim deaf women. And thank you so much for providing us with that accessibility. And for individuals that don't know about our organization, the MDMC, Minnesota Deaf Muslim Community, we are founded in
St. Paul, Minnesota.
St. Paul, Minnesota, in Minnesota State. Our focus is on supporting people who are identified as deaf themselves, deaf plus, deaf blind, hard of hearing individuals. Deaf plus means that the person themselves is deaf, but they also have additional disabilities, such as deaf with mental health issues such as PTSD, deaf with
Cerebral palsy.
cognitive disability, cerebral palsy, who experience isolation, depression as a result, and all of those communities. So thank you so much. Thank you. Sister Valerie, if you want to add anything.
And yes, I just want to add that the programs and services that we provide at MDMC, we provide them to a community that's basically almost ignored by everyone else. And I'm sure it's not intentional. A lot of the people that we serve have what you call invisible disabilities. Sometimes you can't see the disability. It's not noticeable at all. But we thank AMCF and Muslim Women's Giving Circle for championing ASL interpreters. That's our impact, I have to say. When I met Lisa, she had told us that, this was new for her, and she, just didn't know about this community that was underserved, and so many people are the same way. But now we are seeing our impact because nationwide, different organizations are offering ASL interpreters at their events, and that's just one small area that they need access in. There's so much more we need, but we just want to thank you guys for championing that. And please look at our website so you can see the services that we provide. We serve a community that is really in need of our support, and we just thank you all.
Well, thank you so much, Asma and Valerie. Really appreciate the great work you're doing in the community, and an honor to present you with as a first place recipient of the AMCF Women's Giving Circle, and that is from our members. It's again, it's collective giving, collective action, so an honor. And we invite you all to learn more about our upcoming events, our nominees, our grantees. We have 3 cycles of nominees, so we have quite a number of organizations that we try to uplift, as well as our grantees. This will make a total of 9 over 3 cycles. So please go to our web pages, check out what we're doing, what we've done, and looking to grow in the future for 2026. And this month, we'd love for you to join us. We do have a $500 donation match this month in November from a supportive community member. So please check us out, join us. $5 goes a long way. Again, all those little bits and pieces like Amani and Brother Anwar were talking about, that's how we make an impact. That's how we move. So truly, we invite you to join the collective action with the Women's Giving Circle and with AMCF.
Yeah, it's a very inspiring presentation. Thank you, Lisa, for showcasing and building these partnerships with each and every, not only grantee, but nominee. A lot of work has gone into this. So thank you for uplifting AMCF and creating these partnerships. Again, just want to give a shout out to our sponsors. You see all their names. We shared each and every one of them earlier with you. We couldn't do this work without your support. So it means a lot to have your commitment to seeing AMCF continue to grow. Now we will transition into our Muslim Philanthropy Awards ceremony and do our best to stay to the ending time of the event and honor each of your commitment to joining us today. But we have over 58 nominations this year, and we're really excited to highlight some amazing people and wonderful causes. So with us in the past, for the Outstanding Youth in Philanthropy, ages 5 to 12, previously we have had Zohaib Beg, Ayan Raza, Tala Tahir, and Medina Montessori. This year, we are honored to have Noor Kids in the nomination, and they deserve this award because they help nurture young Muslims to lead with kindness, curiosity, and generosity through immersive faith-centered learning and service, from online Ramadan camps and weekly Muslim treehouse classes to global fundraising efforts where they've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars through the years. Noor Kids empowers children to turn their values into meaningful action and making philanthropy a natural part of who they are. So congratulations to Noor Kids. In the interest of time, we will just be highlighting all of the awardees and nominees, but you can learn more about each of these fantastic organizations and people on our website, and we will be bringing them onto our podcast to share more about each and every one of the winners and nominees as well. For the Outstanding Youth in Philanthropy, ages 13 to 21, in previous past recipients have been Sania Vashist, Zareen Salam, the Teen Ummah Giving Circle, and Rihanna Williams. This year, we were fortunate to receive nominees with Salma Al-Binali, who's 17, and founded Kids Connect Ed to expand educational access for orphaned and refugee children, supporting over 450 students across Egypt and the United States. Her rapid fundraising and hands-on leadership have rebuilt schools, delivered essential supplies, and launched new projects with Islamic values rooted in ilm, amana, and sadaqah jariyah. Rabia Badr is an inspiring young philanthropist who has raised over $30,000, mobilizing her peers through the Junior Civitans Club to support local and global causes, from providing laptops to 120 refugee families to leading food drives and wildfire relief efforts. She exemplifies youth leadership grounded in khidmah, rahmah, and sadaqah. Raif Bashir has transformed his volunteer experience at Stanford Children's Hospital into groundbreaking fundraising efforts by creating a team to support the Crescent Zakat Fund. In just 1 month, he raised over $100,000, becoming the first Muslim-led team recognized in the event's 26-year history and expanding support for Muslims in need. This is probably the future leaders of our community, and just very inspiring to see the wonderful work. These two categories are by far my favorite because we get to review so many wonderful people. And it is with immense pleasure that we congratulate Rabia Badr on her receiving the Outstanding Youth Philanthropy Award. Congratulations, Rabia. Into the next category, we have Outstanding Young Fundraising Professional. In the past, we've had Ruwaida Abdulaziz, Muhammad Raza, Amna Khuld, and Bilal Walker. This year in this category, we have Iman Mergen, who has transformed We Belong Here New York into one of the city's most impactful Muslim-led nonprofits, mobilizing hundreds of volunteers, delivering culturally grounded food support, women's wellness programs, youth leadership initiatives, and major emergency relief efforts, including over 60 tons of earthquake aid to Turkey. Through strategic fundraising, strong partnerships, and servant leadership, she has redefined Muslim community-led work, building a movement rooted in dignity, empowerment, and belonging. Congrats to Iman on the outstanding young fundraising professional. As a leader, as an executive director, sometimes the onus is on that one person team to do everything. So congratulations. We are going to recognize our outstanding board members. In the past, we have had Safiya Salam, Narmeen Ramjan, and Haqiqa Abdul Rahim. This year, we had strong nominations from Dr. Bassem Al-Halabi, a founding member of the Islamic Center of Boca Raton and the Garden of Sahaba Academy. He has served the community over 25 years with unwavering dedication and leadership through his pivotal role in outreach, interfaith collaboration, and city and state partnerships, which he has consistently strengthened through community ties, uplifting those around him, making him a truly deserving award recipient. Bilqis Bagia, a longtime registered dietitian and passionate advocate for senior well-being, has advanced Olive Community Services from a volunteer to board member, while expanding its programs, securing partnerships, and championing access to culturally appropriate senior meals and resources. Her leadership includes bringing Olive programs to Irvine and serving as a commissioner on the Orange County Older Adult Advisory Commission, reflects her deep commitment to helping seniors stay healthy, engaged, and connected. Next up is Noshina Hussain. As the first Muslim board member of the St. Paul in Minnesota Foundation, she has transformed the organization by bringing authentic community voice, diversity, and advocating for equity and creating systemic change that benefits these diverse faith communities. Through board leadership, scholarly research, through her PhD, and nonprofit capacity building through her consulting and public advocacy, she has expanded access to Muslim philanthropy, modeling inclusive governance and building lasting infrastructure for community engagement, making her a pioneer in both practice and thought leadership. Fasahat Malik has successfully overseen the completion of a major masjid renovation at the Islamic Association of Greater Detroit and recruited high caliber personnel, consistently motivating teams and committees to achieve outstanding results. In addition to this work, he serves as the president of the Michigan Muslim Community Council. Building on his accomplishments, he has successfully overseen this work. And for this award for outstanding board member, it's a great honor and privilege to congratulate Noshina Hussain on her fantastic work. She's been a pioneer in the community and somebody who is really led by example, and has authored a book on championing all of this effort as well, building wealth, prosperity with purpose. So congratulations, Noshina, on your award. Next up, another important category, we have outstanding volunteer fundraiser. And in the past, we've had Naveen Malik, Fatima Fahs, Ayana Tariq, and Basma Yusuf. This year, the nominees are Abraham Ajrami, who is a dedicated leader and board member of the Gaza Soup Kitchen, coordinating food aid from the US while supporting the local team in Gaza and Palestine. He raises tens of thousands of dollars weekly and focuses on advocacy and community engagement to ensure Palestinians at risk of a man-made famine receive meals with dignity. Hamna Huld is an accomplished nonprofit consultant specializing in public health, grant writing, and community advocacy, helping organizations expand locally and globally. She has secured over $100,000 in funding for programs like Emmanuel Hope Center and empowers nonprofits to build capacity and deliver culturally informed, sustainable services for Muslim and vulnerable communities. For the award this year for Outstanding Volunteer Fundraiser, We're pleased to congratulate Abraham Ajrami of the Gaza Stoop Kitchen. Thank you so much for the important work that you do. Next up, we have our Outstanding Foundation or Grant Maker. We have recognized the Rise Together Fund at Proteus Fund, Pillars Fund, El Hibri Foundation, and the Doris Duke Foundation in the past, our esteemed peers in this work. And this year we have 2 nominations. The Rabbani Foundation, led by Chairman Nasruddin Rabbani, is a global philanthropic organization empowering underserved communities through education, health, and economic development programs. For over 2 decades, it has impacted 1 million people across Pakistan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and the United States, delivering sustainable initiatives like clinics, hospitals, microfinance banks, and educational centers that improve lives and foster equity and resilience. Additionally, the St. Paul in Minnesota Foundation has transformed Minnesota's philanthropic landscape by creating Sharia-compliant giving and investment vehicles for their community, providing sustained support to Muslim-led and Muslim-serving organizations, and educating the broader sector on Islamic giving principles. Their rapid crisis response, including during the 2017 Dar al-Faruq bombing, and long-term commitment to equity, community partnership, and interfaith collaboration, exemplify courageous, principled, and innovative philanthropy that strengthens not only their community, but also the local Muslim community, serving as a national model. For the Outstanding Foundation or Grantmaker Award, we are pleased to congratulate the St. Paul and Minnesota Foundation. A lot of Minnesota representation today, so good old Midwest vibes. For the Outstanding Fundraising Professional, in years past, we have recognized Azhar Aziz, Amna Khuld, Sanat Karkat, and Afshan Malik. This year, we are really proud to highlight Amina Siddiqui, who is dedicated over 15 years to raising more than $1 million through the Crescent Zakat Fund, which has also been a previous Giving Circle recipient of AMCF's Bay Area Collective Giving, and has provided life-saving medical support and care to Muslim children and families receiving cancer care treatment at the Lucille Packard Children's Hospital at Stanford. In addition to missions related to Pakistan, Gaza, and beyond, Amina is an outstanding fundraiser, and through her hands-on service, interfaith collaboration, and donor mobilization through her career, she has created sustained impact that transforms lives locally, nationally, and globally. If there's anybody looking for an outstanding fundraising professional, I would highly recommend you hire Amina. Congratulations on your award for Outstanding Fundraising Professional this year. Next in, we have our Outstanding Nonprofit Award. And in the past, we have recognized Muslim Arc, Yaqeen Institute, Yalla Kafala, and the Unity Lab. This year, there are 12 nominations. So I'm going to read their mission statements. And if you haven't heard of the charity, I highly encourage you to learn more about them, open a donor advised fund, and fund each of these 12 organizations doing fantastic work. The BDISH Foundation works to alleviate poverty and improve health, sanitation, and education outcomes in disadvantaged communities through Bangladesh. The Dallas-Fort Worth Refugee Outreach Services empowers refugee families to successfully adapt to life in the United States by providing essentials, mentorship, education, and a zakat-supported safety net. Helping Hands for Relief and Development's mission is to serve humanity by mobilizing resources for those in need through disaster response and development programs in alignment with Islamic values. Islamic Scholarship Fund exists to increase American Muslim representation in public policy, law, media, and advocacy by providing scholarships, internships, mentorship, and fellowships for change makers. Muslim Family Foundation provides culturally responsive mental and behavioral health services, prevention, education, and referral support to strengthen families and reduce stigma throughout the California Muslim community. MSA National seeks to please Allah by empowering Muslim students through leadership, character development, da'wah, and community building on campus and beyond. Sahaba Initiative's mission is to transform communities by supporting families in crisis via holistic programs in housing, hunger, economic stability, and well-being. Soul Ties converts compassion into action by selling products which generate revenue that is directed toward urgent global needs like food, shelter, and medical aid. The Halima Project empowers underprivileged refugee Muslim youth in America by providing mentorship, education, and support to help them thrive. Ummah Center empowers individuals and families facing barriers to opportunity with the resources and support needed to achieve self-sufficiency. This is achieved by providing access to basic needs like food and housing, offering educational and career services, and creating a strong sense of community in Lake County, Illinois. Voices for Kidney Patients empowers patients, raises awareness, and builds a network to make positive impact on the lives of kidney disease patients. We Belong Here New York promotes a safety net and social justice for communities in New York through envisioning an inclusive community where all persons enjoy equitable opportunities and thriving communities. Their goal is to empower New Yorkers through various initiatives focusing on civic engagement, leadership development, community organizing, and public safety programs. All of these organizations are doing fantastic work, and it's hard and contested category, but we are pleased to award Islamic Scholarship Fund for their continued and dedicated service inspiring the next generation. For the Outstanding Mosque category, we provided a new category last year and gave the award to Masjid al-Islam. This year, we have 2 nominees in the category, and the River Oaks Islamic Center in Houston has been a vibrant community hub since 1969, combining spiritual growth with civic engagement through programs like breast cancer awareness events, homeless sandwich drives, and educational initiatives led by local scholars. By creating inclusive family-centered spaces and partnering with local businesses, ROIC fosters a welcoming environment where spiritual enrichment, social responsibility, and community belonging thrive. The Upper Valley Muslim Society has transformed the Muslim experience in rural New Hampshire and Vermont, providing accessible prayer spaces, mentorship, and support for families, students, and resettling refugees, all through a volunteer-driven model. Their programming, financial assistance, and interfaith outreach demonstrate how a small, dedicated team can sustain religious life, combat Islamophobia, and build resilient, connected communities. I want to take a moment to acknowledge and celebrate the Upper Valley Muslim Society for Outstanding Mosque. Congratulations. Now, for the Outstanding School, also a new category in 2024, we awarded Nurul Iman School this year, again, very heavily contested, with 6 nominees. Averroes High School, the Bay Area's first college preparatory school for Muslim youth, combines rigorous academics with Islamic education to prepare students for higher education leadership rooted in service. Students graduate as role models, actively engaging in philanthropy, becoming politicians, volunteers, and supporting other civic initiatives after college, strengthening the Muslim community locally and nationally. The Muraqabah School, founded by Wadud and Leah Hassan, integrates prophetic pedagogy, character development, and mental wellness into a holistic Islamic education grounded mindfulness and with emotional intelligence. Its innovative model has improved student well-being, learning outcomes, and the founders have shared their approach globally, fostering spiritual, academic, and emotional growth while engaging families as partners through the process. New Horizons School is accredited by NACE and WASC and CASE, providing a nurturing environment that cultivates a strong American Muslim identity and Islamic values. Dedicated educators empower students to grow into confident, values-driven leaders who excel academically and contribute meaningfully to their communities. Orange Crescent School, founded by Dr. Muzammil Siddiqui, integrates academic excellence, faith, and philanthropy through programs that foster leadership, mentorship, and global engagement. Students actively participate in humanitarian initiatives, raising over $170,000 collectively, demonstrating that service is a core expression of faith. San Francisco Islamic School, serving K-8 students since 2005, provides a nurturing environment that promotes academic excellence, character development, and civic engagement despite financial and logistical challenges. Through community service, interfaith dialogue, and partnerships with local organizations, the school strengthens Muslim identity, leadership skills, and resilience. At Lighthouse Schools, Dr. Akif has developed numerous schools nationally, with his boarding school emphasizing faith, character, and academic excellence. The residential program nurtures spiritual growth, personal development, and leadership, preparing students for successful service-oriented futures. We focus a lot on youth in this program. There's so much work that our schools do to develop the future leaders of our communities, and it's really wonderful seeing the impact that these institutions are having. I want to congratulate Averroes High School on winning the Outstanding School Award this year. For the Outstanding Healthcare Clinic, a new category as well last year, we had the UHI Community Care Clinic represented the award. And this year, we have 2 nominees in this category. The Ibn Sina Foundation, led by Nasruddin Rabbani, has provided over 1.1 million patient visits across 6 Houston clinics, offering affordable, high-quality primary and specialty care to more than 80,000 patients annually. They have bilingual staff, minimal flat fees, preventative programs, and hospital partnerships. They exemplify sustainable community-driven healthcare for underserved populations. Universal Medical Clinic was founded by Dr. Zafar, which delivers free medical services, including primary care, optometry, labs, cardiology, mental health to uninsured residents in Miami and Fort Lauderdale through both a physical clinic and mobile outreach. Dr. Zafar's personal dedication, including donating his office building and countless volunteers hours, reflect a lifelong commitment to accessible, compassionate healthcare for the most vulnerable. There's the standing joke of so many Muslim physicians and doctors being in the community, but what is remarkable is knowing that there are over 90 Muslim-led healthcare clinics across the country, many of which are offering free care or affordable care to dozens of underserved communities across the country. So for those who are uninsured or don't have the capacity to have that care provided through an employer, these healthcare clinics are a safety net. And it's why we wanted to have a standalone category for healthcare clinic. It's with immense pleasure and honor that I'm able to congratulate the Ibn Sina Clinic for their outstanding work. Congratulations. For the Outstanding Corporation, in the past, we have recognized Saturna Capital for their Amana mutual funds, Immigrantly Podcast, Launch Good, and Muslim News. This year, we have Friday HQ and Meta Mosque. Friday is a global network of over 2,000 Muslim startups, investors, and experts that connect entrepreneurs with capital, talent, and opportunities while supporting communities in Gaza and other conflict zones through employment and a dedicated Zakat fund. With chapters in major cities worldwide, Friday has empowered hundreds of Muslims to launch businesses and is launching a free accelerator with Google and Microsoft to expand access to advisors, talent, and funding. MetaMosque is an initiative which provides a free virtual reality experience of iconic mosques worldwide, guided by an AI Meta Imam to educate users on performing Hajj and Umrah. It offers accessible spiritual and educational experiences for those who may not be able to, such as youth, the elderly, or those with physical limitations or unseen limitations, or those with economic hardships, enabling Muslims everywhere to explore these sacred sites safely from their home. This year, for Outstanding Corporation, we would like to congratulate Meta Mosque. Now, heading into the final two categories, we will be recognizing Outstanding Philanthropist. In years past, we have recognized Dilnaz Warich, Rabina Dalal, Nasruddin Rabbani, and Sadia Ahmed. This year, we reviewed so many wonderful individuals who are doing fantastic work, and it's an honor to share a little bit more about each of them. Hamza Farkhani, his story embodies selfless philanthropy, as he donated his entire paycheck of $17.74, which he earned in prison as a janitor, to Gaza relief. This inspiring act provided a global wave of giving that raised over $100,000. And his act shows that true generosity is measured by intention and heart, not wealth, making him a symbol of compassion, courage, and faith-driven sacrifice and service. Nashina Hussain demonstrates transformative Muslim philanthropy through her 5 T's framework, integrating time, talent, treasure, and testimony and ties to create meaningful impact regardless of financial capacity. For over 2 decades, she has strengthened Muslim women-led nonprofits, mentored emerging leaders, influenced public policy, and built sustainable organizations. Has been working on a PhD in focusing on Muslim women philanthropy, and has written her book, Prosperity with Purpose, all around modeling faith-grounded, holistic philanthropy. Simab Shafiq exemplifies faith-driven service through her healthcare work, volunteerism, and entrepreneurship, applying her skills as a nursing student, registered behavior technician, and pharmacy technician to serve underserved communities. Beyond healthcare, she empowers women through her business and demonstrates that meaningful philanthropy combines action, compassion, and leadership rooted in faith. Annie Qureshi has shown exceptional leadership through her statewide self-funded monthly food pantry, serving 80 families monthly, regardless of religion or income, since 2020. She has also provided financial aid, job connections, and mental health resources, balancing her community service with raising 4 children and managing a family business, making a significant impact on her community. Zahid Qureshi, president of Al-Falah Center, supports those in need by volunteering and personally purchasing groceries while raising awareness of Muslims facing hardships. His consistent compassion and leadership and dedication exemplify community-driven service and advocacy. It's my honor to name the 2025 Outstanding Philanthropist as Hamza Farkhani, Congratulations. It also goes to remind us that everybody can be a philanthropist. Thank you so much for your dedication and care. For the Lifetime Achievement Award, we have had the honor of showcasing Ahmed Al-Hattab, Makram Al-Amin, Manzoor Ghori, and Sharik Siddiqui. This year, we have Selina Khan Abdullah, who has dedicated over 16 years to transforming STEM education in the Muslim community, building strong K-12 science programs, mentoring students, and fostering partnerships that elevate Muslim representation in STEM. Through leadership roles, volunteerism, and advocacy, she has expanded access, inspiring youth, and showing that education and service are powerful expressions of faith. Congratulations to Selina Khan Abdullah on the Lifetime Achievement Award. Again, I want to take a moment to recognize all of the nominees, all of the award winners, and all of you for joining today. It's been a very inspiring opportunity over the last few months to read all of these applications, see the community spirit behind the work, and take an opportunity to celebrate our accomplishments. Thank you again to our wonderful sponsors for your support of this event. I highly encourage you to open a donor advised fund before the end of the year, to look into opening an endowment for your charities, and of course, to also support and give to AMCF. I want to thank the staff of AMCF. I want to thank the board of AMCF. I want to thank our families who allow us to do this work. I want to take a moment to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his wisdom and putting this initiative into our hearts, and to every one of you who are leading by example in your communities. It takes a lot of effort to keep these institutions going. It takes a lot of effort to stay motivated. And it, again, is very inspiring to see the work that our educators are doing to instill the next generation to continue this work. So from Anwar and Amani, thank you again for being part of this panel and this discussion. Thank you everyone for being participants. And we will also just want to thank our ASL interpreters and Mohsen and the grantees for providing this service as well. So with that, if there's any public comments or anything that anybody wants to share off mute, we have a few more minutes as we finished early. So I want to turn it back to the community that's here, that's taken time to join us. Feel free to raise your hand or come off mute. But yeah.
Jamaica Mohi, this is Adina Lekovich. I am curious about, I think you mentioned well, first of all, thank you and congratulations to everyone. And what a tremendously inspiring and like activating imagination and future. MashaAllah, Mabruk. And thank you to the whole team. And I'm curious about the affinity group of Muslim philanthropy professionals.
Yeah.
Which you may have described, but could you just say a little bit more about that? How many people even are in that? I'm so curious, and how that works, functions, etc.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Adina, for joining and for being part of the Women's Giving Circle and all of your community work that you inspire. The Association of Fundraising Professionals has different affinity groups for a variety of faiths or ethnicities, and AFP is partnered with AMCF to do the Muslim Affinity Group. So primarily it's for fundraisers in the field and a resource group. So we share best practices. We have an upcoming webinar on Ramadan prep, and we try to meet quarterly with this group. And we've provided more resources on what it is to become a certified fundraising executive. So in the past, we've done study groups to earn that achievement, prepare for the exam. So again, we're just trying to uplift the development of professionals in this space. So that's what the Muslim Affinity Group is with AFP.
Thank you, Mohit. I don't hear any other questions, so I have one more. I saw on social media that you did like I don't know if it was a national or an international adventure. And I am curious, it looked like it intersected with your work with AMCF. And so I'm curious about that as well, because what a great idea to get out.
Definitely. Through the summer, I had a little fun on road trips across the country. So I started in Michigan, drove all the way to San Francisco in what seemed like no time at all. Made it there for Eid, and got to celebrate with the community that I was part of. And hosted Fajr coffee talks where I made coffee for people who showed up to Fajr in cool locations. So by the Golden Gate Bridge or by Santa Monica Pier or in the greater Denver area at Lookout Mountain. And our board members hosted events in Los Angeles and in Dallas. So I was just driving around the country, sometimes sleeping in my car, other times with family, just as part of the adventure. And just very, got to see remarkable places along the way. This country is really beautiful when it comes to nature and scenery, and I love camping and doing all those things. So I was able to combine my passion with my dedication to AMCF, and it was just a unique way to raise awareness about the work that we were doing. So had a lot of great community conversations. So I just used it as a way to reach out to people, and it was a great way. We raised $100,000 through that campaign, and we also had a donor who matched $50,000. So we were able to raise $150,000 through the road trip, which was really inspiring to see the community support.
Muhi, I wanted to add that with the Women's Giving Circle, we take money from anyone and everyone, so men can donate.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure, since we have a mixed crowd here, that they know that we're happy to take the men's money. However, voting is limited to the women.
Right. So
very equitable.
Nominate your mother, nominate your mother-in-law, nominate your sister, your daughter, your wife, anybody to participate in the group. We definitely want to see the group grow to hundreds of people, just so that we can expand that impact. And I think the American Muslim Women's Giving Circle has been one of the biggest blessings behind AMCF's success. And just really motivated to see where that will continue to grow. Also, the recipients have the opportunity to choose to open an endowment with those funds. And a few of them have decided to give to their endowment that they already have with us, or open an endowment, which is another way that we want to continue to promote long-term sustainability. So in the interest of time, feel free to reach out to me individually if there's any other questions, but just want to, again, thank you. It's been an honor to kind of lead this work and do this work in community, and it takes a village. So again, can't do it alone, and it takes each and every one of you to make us successful. So again, support AMCF, open a donor advised fund, work with your family to do the same, give with a group of friends. You can start a separate giving circle if you're inspired, and encourage your nonprofit organizations to host their endowments with AMCF. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Hold on.